Hello, 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 and welcome, you guys. Welcome to yet another session of Tarot Spills the Tea, okay? And let me introduce myself real quick before we get started. Just in case you didn't know, I am Indigo Sage, all right? And this is my original channel, so thank you so much for tuning in. And then I do have a secondary channel where it's only reviews. This channel, I was gone for a minute, now I'm back, and I've sort of redone my format, and I have decided that my tarot channel should focus on tarot. So, I've cut out the big research intro that I used to do. I will have that only if it's necessary. All right, but you can find me across most media places under Indigo Sage Tarot or Indigo Sage Reviews. And you can also find me still with the hashtag unapologetically sage. All right, let's go. So in this session, it is Kyle versus Sutton, and these two women are on the cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Again, that is Kyle Richards and Sutton Stracke, baby. Okay, so who will be waving the white flag first? They have been going at it in season, which is of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I believe it's 13. Okay, they've been going at it, all right, ever since it started, and but yet they claim to be such good friends, and I really hadn't seen that in the past, them being such close friends. I mean, I've seen Kyle and I've seen Sutton and Garcelle. I have not actually seen Sutton and Kyle be close. I've seen them go out together and buy jewelry and stuff, but I don't know. I just hadn't seen them be as close as what they're acting and putting on. So I had to do a tarot reading on that just to see how close they actually are and if they really are. And so, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I was pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised for a couple of reasons. I'm not gonna give it all away, but Sutton turned into a whole new person. It's like she's like an onion, you just keep peeling back layers and layers and layers and finding out who she really is, okay? Come on and see who she really is, okay? So, go ahead and tune in. Also, this format is different than the one I did with Heavenly and Quad, versus in the Heavenly and Quad, I did it all, each of them as a whole. This one, I'm comparing them back to back. All right, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's just dive in and begin this session now. Kyle has been a cast member since day one and has enjoyed consistently appearing as a full-time housewife for each of the 13 seasons they've aired. She's married and has 4 daughters and 4 dogs that we frequently see. She has a fortune from being an actress from childhood to present. She has produced a mini-series loosely based on her childhood, to which her sisters were not a fan of, so much so that her eldest sister, who happens to be Kathyhilton, okay, none other than Miss Kathyhilton, stopped talking to her for years. Also contributing to the fortune is her husband, who's a real estate mogul, currently in the process of solidifying his agent worldwide. It has recently been reported before the latest season began that Kyle and her husband has separated. Kyle's net worth, according to Google, is $100 million. This is Suttonstracke. Google says she is an American socialite, businesswoman, and television personality. She has been featured on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for the 3 most recent seasons, with her first as a friend to the show before holding a diamond for the current. It's alleged that her ex-husband is a billionaire and she gained a small fortune once they divorced. She has 3 children. The youngest still lives with her but is hardly on the show. Unlike Kyle, who has her family as her storyline many, many times. Okay. Sutton's net worth is estimated in the ballpark of $50 million. Also, she owns a high-end fashion boutique appropriately called Sutton, and she tells us that it is doing quite well. Her boutique is unique to her style And another item that stands alone is the sign for her store, being that it is her name written in her late father's handwriting. I feel like this is precious and a perfect way to honor someone who truly believed in her. Okay, she has cried over her father's passing on the show before, and as a matter of fact, Sutton has cried more than any of the other women on the show before, which is why this reading actually shocked me. Okay, because Sutton is very fragile, it seemed. Anyway, it seems she was fragile. And it may surprise you as well. Okay, so let's sage this out. So Kyle's card for the past, as it represents, as she sees the friendship between her and Sutton, is temperance. Okay, and this card came up in reverse. There were a lot of reverse cards, but in Kyle's reading overall, it was 50-50. Okay, there's only 4 cards I'm gonna do, and 2 were upright and 2 were reversed. And for Sutton, this woman, Miss Strack, had 3 of the 4 reversed. Okay, so let's dive in and see what's going on. All right. So temperance is the card of balance and grace between 2 extremes. I can see how Kyle and Sutton are 2 extremes because, in my opinion, these 2 have the most wealth out of all the women, but they are near opposite. Okay, Kyle is uncouth, as we've seen her be wild, loud, and so angry and drunk that she physically has pushed Sutton, while on the other hand, Sutton is well mannered, speaks soft, and when she gets very upset, she simply walks away and cries by herself. Okay, so that to me is polar opposite. The temperance card in reverse in the past position says that you may have gone through a tough period where you overreacted or behaved in an extreme way. As it relates to Kyle's treatment of Sutton last season, this is spot on. For example, when it came to Sutton versus Diana, all right, which was at Garcelle's birthday party, Kyle placed herself in the middle of it. All right, and went as far as manhandling Sutton when Sutton questioned Diana. So in this season anyway, Kyle recognizes her wrong and apologizes for that. Alternatively, it may indicate that you have recently experienced a period of excess and need to restore balance and moderation. This refers to Kyle telling Sutton that she has stopped drinking and now is working out more in order to put her mental and physical health first. Kyle becomes upset when Sutton questions her new healthy habits. Okay. And that's a whole scene, and it's a couple of scenes where Sutton is just asking questions about what sparked her change in her behavior, and Kyle goes off. What Sutton has in the past is Judgment card, which also was in reverse. Okay, so that's interesting how both of them are viewing their friendship in reverse in the past. So they are recognizing that it wasn't smooth sailing in the past. Okay, so with them. So Sutton's reverse judgment card. The judgment card reversed in the past indicates that you need to forgive yourself for past missteps. You cannot change the past, so worrying about what has already happened is wasted energy. Instead, accept your flaws and mistakes. Take responsibility for your choices and what they led to, but let go of any guilt or shame. As it pertains to the Kyle and the misstep that Sutton did, or what she was experiencing, it was Kathy's wrath. Okay, so Sutton feels like it was a misstep when she admitted to Kyle that she experienced what she experienced with Kathy. And apparently, she made a phone call to Kyle and told her that she was right about Kathy. And all the while, she was keeping that a secret and didn't tell anyone else, didn't back up Kyle or anything, but she still was going to industry parties with Kathy and hanging out with Kathy and, just being around Kathy and acting like nothing was wrong. So, anyway, that pissed off Kyle, and Kyle erupted with that information at her THC dinner party, which prompted Sutton to admit to calling Kyle and saying, I know what you say about your sister Kathy is true because I experienced it. Kyle feels like Sutton did her wrong when she could have taken that opportunity as a friend to have her back, but she didn't. Okay, so I understand Kyle's point. I really do. But I don't understand why she got so angry because I I'm getting the feeling that Kyle feels like no one believed her when she said Kathy is a monster when she does that. And I'm terrified of Kathy whenever I see her call, whenever I see her name on my phone. I freeze up and I get anxiety and I'm terrified of her. I think Kyle felt like the women didn't believe her and she felt like it would have been nice if, since Sutton experienced it, it would have been nice for her to mention that to the whole group. Well, first of all, that's not the way Sutton works. Sutton doesn't call everyone and say, hey, guess what, guess what, guess what. Um, Now, that may have been something that, Kyle would have worked into making sure that everybody knew if it was opposite, because Kyle is that type of person. Sutton is not, though. So it's really weird how she took it to the extreme of being that upset to the point that, she was just like shaking and hollering and screaming at her about it. That was that was really weird. But anyway, let's move on. Before we move on, let me add this, okay? So, in conclusion with the past, looking at Kyle's past card and how she came in and apologized for the way she treated Sutton and manhandled Sutton, I believe she came in wanting Sutton to also come apologetically to her and say, yes, I should have had your back with your sister. Okay, so I wanted to add that. So that's in the past. That's how each of them see each other in the past. And Sutton did end up apologizing about not having her back with Kathy or not telling everybody, but only after Kyle erupted and was angry and she blurted it out first. Okay, so that kind of pissed Kyle off. Okay, so Kyle, Kyle's card for present is the world. All right, and the world card represents completion and success, as well as an invitation to start another round. This had me cracking up. Okay, because I can see how Kyle would currently visualize her friendship as completion and success as it relates to how she was under fire last season on how she treated Sutton badly and threw her under the bus at times when it came to Sutton talking about having a miscarriage. Kyle questioned whether or not that was true because Sutton had never told Kyle about it before. And in this instant, I believe Kyle was saying that we're close and you didn't tell me, so that's why Kyle was saying that it was hard for her to believe. All right. And let me say, I never really knew, except for little insights like that Kyle and Sutton were very close. I really hadn't seen that. That really, for me as a viewer, the audience reviewer, is new this year. It's really just coming out this year. But as I'm doing this tarot reading, I'm kind of seeing times where they were hanging out and where they said that they were close. Because in this season, Sutton says to Kyle a lot, "We're close. You can tell me. You can talk to me." So anyway, that was ridiculous, all right, of Kyle to doubt, Sutton saying that she had a miscarriage. And Kyle got roasted for that. So she immediately comes in this season and owns it and apologizes, and it was accepted. That's the completion and success. Now that Kyle has cleared that, she is ready to go another round with Sutton, but she knew she had to clear that first before she begins to go in on Sutton yet again. This card in reverse says this will be one particular part of your life that is taking up your energy rather than problems in all areas. You may be aware of what it is already, as it will be a focus for you and you may feel burdened by it. Yep, that sounds about right. These last four episodes have been Kyle versus Sutton, and Kyle seems to be burdened, in my opinion. She seems to be the one who's burdened. For Sutton, the present is represented by Two of Swords. Two of Swords is decisions, 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 okay? The decision process may involve deciding on two different directions to take or whether to stay or go. But historically, y'all, okay, let me give y'all a little piece of this. Historically, Two of Swords was said to represent friendship and harmony. Mm. In the reverse position, the Two of Swords tarot card represents experiencing emotional or mental turmoil as a result leading to an inability to make a decision, whereas Two of Swords upright suggests that a decision is being made. The reversal suggests you may be stuck in the middle of a stalemate between yourself and someone close to you. The Two of Swords represents a debate, okay, and that they do. That they do, okay. It seems like almost every episode, Kyle and Sutton are debating. All right, I call it arguing, but whatever. This is evident as Sutton keeps asking Kyle, is there anything wrong, and reassuring her that she is her friend and can confide in her about her problems. But at the same time, when Kyle challenges Sutton to say what problems she's referring to, Sutton refuses to name them. Okay, name them. She refuses to name them. But yet Sutton insists that there is a hidden meaning behind Kyle's healthy lifestyle change and new jewelry. In the confessional, Sutton keeps referring to headlines that mention that Kyle and Mauricio are separating due to trouble in their marriage. It's extremely weird to me that Sutton keeps pulling Kyle aside for a one-on-one powwow to discuss Kyle's issue, but Sutton refuses to actually say it. But that's the difference I referred to earlier in Kyle's reading, because Kyle would have stated it and rang it around the rosy already. Okay? Okay, the rest of the reading is coming right up, but right here is where I'd like to ask you guys to please show me support by clicking like, okay, please do that, and subscribe. It's free for both, all right? Thank you so much for being here and listening to me just do what I love to do, play with these tarot cards, give you guys readings, and I mean, it brings joy into my life. I hope that I can bring a little piece of joy in your life. All right, let's continue. This is how Kyle sees the future of the friendship that she has with Sutton is going to go. All right. When placed in the future position, the Eight of Cups is a signal that you may be on the path to becoming worn out, drained, and otherwise left without any energy. Kyle feels like being friends with Sutton is going to drain her. All right. And I can see that because she's kind of looking like she's being drained now, which is why she's bringing in that new girl to attack Sutton, that Anne Marie girl. And I don't like that one bit. Now, in this picture, the woman is looking in the cups of love, looking for substance after two have been knocked over. All the while, the person who left those cups have already walked away. You can see them in the distance in the red to the right. They back is towards her, and they done walked away already. And they got a cane, too, for their legs and their feet. Anybody who watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills already know what I'm talking about, okay? Now, I can almost guarantee in the end, Kyle is going to ultimately decide not to be friends with Sutton, okay? Or give us the impression she's not going to be friends with Sutton. Or the way Kyle will put it would be, I have realized that Sutton is not my friend. Or she'll say, Sutton doesn't want to be friends with me, because if she did, then she wouldn't have done, and then blah, 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 blah. Okay, fill in the blank. She'll say something along those lines in order to place the blame on Sutton. That's what this card is telling me. Okay, so Sutton's future card. When I saw it, it made me want to say, hold up, swole up. Okay, hold up, swole up. Now look, King of Wands. And let me tell you, just like I mentioned earlier, that Sutton's, the majority of her cards, 3 out of 4, were reversed. Check this out. This was the only card that was upright. And it's the King of Wands. Kings are protectors, providers, and seasoned, experienced leaders who succeeded in the missions and quests they undertook as knights. Get into it, okay? They can be assertive and alert to a point of being aggressive. For example, when Sutton told Kyle, fuck off, at the Magic Mike show, and when Kyle accused Sutton for always becoming unhinged, Sutton demanded repeatedly for Kyle to name him, name him, name him. She wanted her to name the times that she was unhinged. Although this card is how Sutton sees the future of her friendship with Kyle, I can 100% see how Sutton's King of Wands has an impact on her during the friendship right now. This suggests that Sutton is someone who is fiery and will become more lively. With King of Wands in the future position, this means any current struggles will be worth it, as you shall soon see the mastery of the different elements of your life honed by your talents into a unified working method. Success is looming when this card is in the future position. So then we have to ask, what does Sutton view as success in this friendship? It appears to me that Sutton no longer wants to be viewed as a shrinking violet by the ladies. She doesn't want to be bullied anymore, and she knows the mean girls of the group seem to follow Kyle's lead. So Sutton has decided to demand respect from Kyle so everyone else can fall in line. And she is ready to give them all a fiery piece to be what? Reckoned with, okay? To be reckoned with. So Kyle's energy card in all of this, as it refers to her and Sutton's friendship, is represented by the Queen of Cups. All right, and you guys know the energy is what drives the other cards. It's like the root of the tree. Nothing can happen and nothing can come of it if it doesn't have roots. So here is the energy card. Her energy card is Queen of Cups, and it was upright, which is nice. This person is emotionally balanced, loving, caring, intuitive, and generous. This queen values the intangible over the material things in life. It also shows that Kyle's energy is that she feels a soul connection with Sutton, which is probably why Sutton keeps referring to herself as a family member of Kyle's. Like one time, Sutton referred to herself as Kyle's sister and told Kyle, "You already lost two sisters. Would you like to lose another?" Mm. Now that wasn't nice, but I was thinking to myself when I heard Sutton say that to Kyle, since when did y'all call each other sisters? But anyway, so that must have been something that they had been doing, probably off camera, because I don't recall seeing it. On a separate occasion, Sutton referred to herself as Kyle's daughter, which made Kyle quip, "Don't flatter yourself." Okay, ooh, child. I said, "Oh my goodness, okay, so okay, they both be hitting each other, but either way, there's a reference of family. Ultimately, on some level, she is viewing a friendship through the eyes of them having a bond, which may be why Kyle is really bothered by Sutton going hard and questioning her so much. Because I think if Kyle wasn't close to Sutton, Kyle would have said at some point, "I don't care what you think." Okay? Okay. But instead, Kyle is yelling and screaming at Sutton every chance she gets, and it's about the same thing, which is what Sutton thinks is going on with Kyle. All right, so she does care, and that shows that she does feel like they have a connection, a bond, some kind of sisterly thing. And at some point, I think she did say that she saw Sutton as a daughter, but I don't know. They ain't like that. They fighting right now. Continuing. For Sutton's energy, her card is 10 of Wands. All right. And I don't know, I almost felt bad for Sutton until I realized it was what in reverse. All right, so let's get it started. The reverse 10 of Wands means burdenless. Okay, let me say that again. Burdenless. All right, upright it means burden, reverse is burdenless. All right, so I said, okay, come on, hit me with it. That means Sutton feels burdenless. It could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the situation. But because this is a minor arcana card, these traits are not inherent aspects of her personality, her identity. And boy, don't we know it. When it comes to Sutton, okay, season after season, she is burdened with something, whether it's moving from one mansion to another, or not wanting to be associated with someone who steals from orphans and widows, or currently fearful of custodial rights being ripped away and flown clear across the world. Sutton has burdens. However, she has somehow decided, as it pertains to her friendship with Kyle, that will not be one of them. Okay? Not today, Satan. Not today, Satan. But if a person is a good friend of yours and they are going through something, I don't know if a person should feel burdenless. On the other hand, in Sutton's defense, she may feel like she is not going to beat a dead horse. In a recent episode, she told Kyle, "I am satisfied with your answer. Nothing is going on, and I won't ask you anymore." All right, and that was Kyle's answer. Nothing's going on. So Sutton was saying, I'm satisfied with your answer that nothing is going on and I won't ask you anymore. So now I guess that would make her burdenless to the friendship. Okay, we'll see how this plays out because this is not a natural feeling for Sutton, and I don't believe it's easy for Sutton to not care once she does, unless you do something to her to make her not care. We've seen that with her and Erica. When Erica first went through her divorce, Sutton offered to loan her hundreds of thousands of dollars so she wouldn't miss a beat. But by the end, Erica was threatening to beat Sutton's ass at Kathy's dinner table, and the following season, Sutton was telling Erica to fuck off in the first episode. So back to the matter at hand. Sutton's energy towards Kyle is burdenless. It's as if she feels like she's done all she can do and she's washing her hands now as it pertains to what's going on with Kyle. One more thing. This shift in Sutton better not be the reason Kyle is going to feel like Sutton is not her friend. Okay? I really, really don't want to see, Sutton going through with the fact that she said, I'm satisfied with your answer. I'm not going to ask you anymore. And then Kyle flips and takes it as like, oh, you don't care? If you were my friend, you'd care. I better not see some stuff like that. Okay? Come on. So now we can see why in the future Kyle is going to concede maybe they'll be better off not being friends. It's clearly because Sutton is what? Standing on business? Sutton is standing on business, y'all, and no longer allowing Kyle to walk all over her. Sutton has learned that she has to show her fiery side, and that leaves Kyle in a state of having to decide to accept it or not to accept it. One might wonder, is this a new Sutton that we are seeing? Or if this confident version Kyle is experiencing has been Sutton all along? The cards suggest this is who Sutton has been all along. With Kyle's energy being represented by Queen of Cups, that tells me that Kyle will eventually accept this version of Sutton. And Sutton's energy being represented by Ten of Wands reverse, ushering in a heavy burden released, will allow for Sutton to lighten up. So in the end, if these two friends stay in tune with their true heartfelt energy, my prediction is that they will be all right, but they are going to scratch and claw each other before getting there. All right, so I just wanted to thank you guys for listening. This is truly a hobby of mine. I love doing it. It makes me happy. This is how I relax, you guys, okay? I love tarot. But also don't forget that I do have a review channel, okay? Haven't been there in a while, but I did review Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last season. So if you want to laugh, relax, go check that out. It's Indigo Sage Reviews. All right, the link is in the description box. Go check out Indigo Sage Reviews for some laughs, and also I do have older tarot readings on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, especially the season where Erica was first in trouble. Okay, so check those out as well. I have them in the playlist. All right, click like and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye.